This is my brother Jason.
Hello.
I'm gonna scoot him on over here. Scoot you guys over so hopefully you can somewhat see both of us. We are here live. If you are new to the channel, I do lives every Saturday-ish while I feed my daughter. And today we brought my brother as a special guest to help review the cruise that we were just on. So we were recently on Discovery Princess on a Mexican Riviera group cruise. Actually, we hosted our first group cruise, and it must have been successful since everyone rebooked to come on to Alaska with us. So anyway, I have some notes here. Have some notes here about what I want to talk about today, and then my brother will interject with his own opinions of things as well. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. And so first off, the room. We were in A204, which is the exact same room we were on Sky Princess. So we're going to compare a lot to Sky Princess because we were on Sky Princess 14 days. Both Sky and Discovery are Royal class ships, so they are pretty much identical. Very, very similar. So that's kind of where our baseline is comparing those two. We'll compare with like Crown and stuff like that too, but for the most part, we're going to be comparing Sky and Discovery. So our room was identical, same layout. We did the sideways room. We love these rooms, love them. We feel they're much bigger than a typical interior, and just the layout. So you walk in, we'll post a whole room tour, but
you can see our Sky one too.
On Monday, is that when we're posting the room tour? I think so, yeah. So Sky Princess, we had the same room. So you walk in and the beds are there, and then you go like around the corner to see for the bathroom and stuff, which I just like that a lot better.
Yeah, there's more room like between the beds too, like spread a little bit further apart, it seemed.
Especially because like we always have a stroller for her, so for my daughter, so it just makes more sense to have a little bit more space, and I just like the flow of it a bit better. We don't have any issues, noise complaints with that kind of layout, nothing like that. We are very much like Aloha deck forward. That is kind of how we cruise. So we don't get motion sick and stuff like that. It is definitely way rockier at the front of the ship. I have a whole video on how to choose the best room.
Yeah.
But for us, that is the best room. We like those ones. So. The ship in general, the differences, there's a few differences where some venues are swapped around. Vista Lounge on this ship was not open very much. Often it was closed for private events and rehearsals, so we spent like no time in there. And because my daughter has special needs, we actually really like to have a venue that we can let her out and run around in. So it was kind of weird to not have that as an option. So she spent more time restrained or contained than I would have liked. Any comments about Vista?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was ashamed just not to be able to get into it very much.
I was not a fan of the Elite Lounge being in Princess Live.
Yeah, it just felt more like exposed and open.
Yeah, so on Sky Princess it was in Vista, and it was just more like private and intimate, and they had music and stuff, and I didn't see any music happening during this cruise. MRS, please don't kick the table. So yeah, I have like a hair that's like right here-ish, and it's driving me nuts. And so I just felt it was like too open and less like, oh, there it is. And like I said, less intimate, less like eliteness, being like, hey, here's this random lounge that all these people are just walking by and staring at you. Crooners though, the Crooners is not on the Sky Princess. So they do have a Crooners on the Discovery Princess. I really liked it. I really liked the location, especially because the pianist was there right before dinner time for us. So we'd go and listen to her for a little bit, and then we would go to dinner. So it was good location. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I really like just having another venue to be able to go and sit at. That was pretty easily accessible and had the piano and stuff. And as you only really had the piano at Crown Girl Bar on Sky, that was the only piano. So having the two pianos, and the second piano guy was more of like one of those the vocalist ones, the ones that are sing and do upbeat songs and get the crowd going and stuff. But the one at Crown Girl Bar is more of like a relaxed, jazzy type atmospheric.
Yeah, which is what we like. We like to just sit and listen, read a book, you know, that kind of stuff. Sabatini's on this ship is actually up on deck 6,
Sabatini's, yes. Is
It's
on.
wherever the catch was on Sky.
Yeah.
And I don't like it there. I mean, we never ate there, and we didn't eat there on Sky. But like to me, Sabatini's is like the upscale Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
It is like upscale. Like so to shove it in like the noisiest part of the ship and then put the catch, which the catch is a specialty restaurant, but it's like I don't know, I feel like it's more like a lower down. It's a seafood restaurant.
Well, maybe that's because we don't eat there, but
Yes. So like to have that there, but Jason was saying that like probably because Discovery goes to Alaska,
Yeah.
and so they probably need a bigger venue
for that, because more people will probably want the seafood over the Italian
especially if
food.
they like Princess is really good about getting local food, so
Yeah.
like probably a lot of local crab, local seafood, salmon and stuff like that. So probably that's the issue. Like they're the reason.
The reason, yeah.
Shows. So the main production shows on this were Viva la Musica, Rock Opera, and Spotlight Bar. Rock Opera, we love that show. We saw it on Sky twice. My daughter, it's like probably one of her favorite shows. I preferred Five Skies on Sky, but that's
Five
different.
Guys was really good. Surprisingly.
And then Spotlight Bar is very good as well. Viva la Musica so Spotlight Bar we did see on Sky as well. Viva la Musica is actually only on the Sun Princess and Discovery. And I was very excited to see this show, but unfortunately due to injuries, they had to cancel it. So I'm excited to see it on Sun now, but Sun, I don't know that we're gonna see shows on Sun. We will see what we can see on Sun. Just because of the way the ship is and the smaller theaters and like just accessibility, all that kind of stuff. I am worried that we are going to see no shows on Sun or very few shows on Sun. But I was disappointed that it was canceled. Totally understandable, but they were so good at like revamping things. So like it was canceled. They threw on one of the guest entertainers. They got things kind of figured out. Same with the farewell show. The farewell show usually is like a variety show with a bunch of different like the guest entertainers plus the production cast. But obviously due to the production cast not being able to perform, they were able to have the guest entertainer put on another show. So there was an ABBA show, which ABBA calms my daughter.
Yeah.
I was like, she loves ABBA, but then she's in there and she's like, oh, chill. Whereas like rock opera and stuff, she is bouncing. And then I didn't really super care for the one that they threw in. They threw in an Elton John, who was the piano guy.
The other piano guy, yeah.
So like I wasn't like super thrilled with that one. I didn't find it was that entertaining, but like Elton John's not my thing. And
I mean, that show wasn't supposed to happen. So.
No.
It was good for what they were able to throw together.
Yeah. So like the shows overall I found were good. The entertainment was good.
Yeah, we also had the cultural show.
Oh yes, I
The
forgot
Mexican
about that.
cultural
That
show,
was good.
which was really good as well.
Really enjoyed having that where they brought on local entertainers on to do local dances and local cultural things. Princess again, so good with doing this.
And included like the mariachi band, which was also on the
Yes.
ship. They did a lot of shows in like the Crown Grill bar and the Piazza. They did a lot of music going on there as well.
They played almost every day, or did every day.
Yeah, I was surprised because I wasn't expecting it, and then all of a sudden, no, there's a mariachi band on here.
And they didn't always do mariachi music. Like the one time they were doing like Beatles and stuff like that, but
Yeah, they were really good.
activities, we didn't actually do a ton of activities because we were hosting a group cruise. We had a lot of people on board that we were hanging out with and stuff. So, and it was also 1 week, which for us is too short to do anything. So we were busy. But in terms of like the stuff that we had seen going on, it was common activities seemed like a good variety. There was, again, our main complaint is like karaoke being too late at night, silent disco being too late at night. We are just not late night people. Like I'm usually in the room at the latest by 9 with my daughter. Jason stay up a bit later than that, but like we're just not. I don't know. And at Crown, we found that they did stuff a lot earlier, and they also had like daytime karaoke and stuff like that, which we liked on.
Or is
Crown.
this one that only had the one? I think they had one at 8:30 p.m.
Oh yeah,
karaoke.
which was still too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, good variety of.
And Marriage Match too. Also.
Oh,
being
it was
late.
like
We didn't get to see
10:30.
that. Yeah.
That one was really late. That one I understand though because it is an adult direct, like it's an adult targeted thing. But they had the 80s party, they had the ABBA party. My daughter loved that. That was at a good time because that was right after the show. So I think that was like 8:30 or 8 o'clock, something like that, 8:30. And so that was a good time for us. The 80s party I think it was a bit later, but we didn't go to that, but my cousins did. yeah, I think overall good amount of activities, something pretty much for everyone, which is kind of how Princess rolls.
Yeah.
The staff were great. No complaints about staff. It was really great. We ate in the dining room, which I'll talk about the food in a separate part here. But we ate in the dining room a lot. We had breakfast, and most breakfasts and most dinners in the dining room. And great staff. We did the walk-in, but we were lucky enough to get the same staff almost every time. And staff on Princess is just fantastic. Like very funny, very like warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
Great. My daughter has special needs, so she's a lot sometimes, but the staff was fantastic with her. I did make a note here that I feel like the bars were less overwhelmed than on Sky. On Sky, the wait staff and the bars, like the bar wait staff, like the drink staff, they seemed very overwhelmed on Sky Princess and understaffed for what the amount of people were. Whereas this one didn't seem to have that, and I didn't hear the complaints that I heard on Sky. On Sky, I heard so many people saying, waiting around and fighting to get drinks. Didn't hear that on this. And even my own drink, like I had ordered on Sky a drink, and I don't drink alcohol, but sort of non-alcoholic. It's not that hard to make. Anyway, it took a very long time on Sky for it to get to me, whereas on Discovery, it was like,
Yeah, and
minutes.
people that we're cruising with, they seem to have no issues getting drinks.
yeah, and they did the drink delivery service a lot.
Yeah.
I did food service twice. I would have done it more if they had a better burger, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I only did it twice, and it took about an hour, which is kind of, it seems normal for food on these ships now. Crown, I found like it was so much faster, but whatever. If you're doing the food delivery, just be prepared that the food's going to take you about an hour to get. So if you're starving, don't rely on it. Anything else to say about the staff?
No.
Okay. Food. This is going to be a bigger section for me anyway. So food, let's start with Jason. So food as a pretty normal but picky-ish eater. What do you think?
I thought it was pretty fine. Even at the dining room, it was okay. There was a lot of stuff for me to eat. We didn't actually eat at the buffet a lot, so but what we did eat there, it seemed pretty good. I mean, salty dog was salty dog for me, same goodness. But yeah, in terms of the options, seemed pretty typical of Princess.
Again, like 7-day cruise, so we didn't eat a lot in
Yeah.
general. Makes sense. So lunches, you tended to do salty dog. Is that what happened?
Yeah, like I saw the dog. I think I got sliced one time. Honestly, sometimes it was just like getting a snack at the International Cafe.
Okay.
And then we had the buffet just like maybe twice. I don't know, was at the buffet twice.
We weren't always together for meals, or for lunch anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
And then we did Gigi's the one day.
Oh yeah, we did.
So I
Gigi's.
mean, with only 7 days, I mean,
Yeah.
you can only eat so much, and it's like as much as you want to eat. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to eat more, but I can't eat more.
So for me, this Discovery was a total miss. And also for cruisers that were with us that were gluten-free. Gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian options were abysmal. They were severely lacking in the buffet. The dining room was much better. The dining room, especially at dinner, has a vegan menu. Highly recommend doing that. They have vegetarian options. Like, dining room is your friend if you have dietary restrictions. My issue was I went into Discovery thinking it was gonna be very similar to Sky. Sister ships should be the same kind of stuff, right? You would think that. Whereas like Crown Princess was very much lacking, but it's a significantly smaller ship with a significantly smaller buffet. So my thinking with that was like, oh yeah, bigger ship, more options. Went into Discovery, nada. It was so horrible. None of the options that we had on Sky. Like Sky had tons of pastries for breakfast. Discovery had pastries for breakfast. Okay. Lunch, Sky had like sandwiches that were gluten-free. There was vegan, tons of options. Discovery, nothing. There was nothing. And then dinner time, and no vegan desserts at all at lunchtime. Dinner time, I will say Sky wasn't great for dinner, which is why we did want to do the dining room a little bit more, because I ate a lot of cake for dinner on Sky, and I ate a lot of food delivery late at night getting Beyond Burgers because they had Beyond Burgers. So now I have oatmeal all over me. So Sky was not great for supper, but that's where it was like, oh, if we did the dining room, we have the vegan options. Whereas Discovery also had nothing. But the difference is they also had no vegan desserts, so there was literally nothing at dinner, and their Beyond Burger was not existent. They did not have a Beyond Burger. They had the mushy veggie patty, which was so gross. So in some ways it was very disappointing, but also it made me more comfortable with being like, okay, if I have no options on the big ship, which I don't prefer the big ships, I prefer the Grand Class, then I know that I'm fine on smaller ships. Because Crown I like struggled a bit, but like now knowing like dining room is my best friend, that kind of thing. I did eat lunch in the dining room a few times because they had vegetarian options that were much more easier to access. They had options versus the buffet didn't. International Cafe, nothing vegan. They had a few vegetarian options. But like, again, I'm used, like on Sky, they had a Beyond Meat pie and a Beyond Meat chicken Caesar wrap thing. They had way more options. Also my biggest issue was, I think it was on the first breakfast. We went to the breakfast buffet. They had things labeled vegan that weren't vegan. They had gluten things that were labeled gluten-free that weren't. They forgot to take down signage. And so like this was like pretty late in the morning. And I am one to always double check because I question everything. And I saw like this like sausages and stuff like that. I was like, these are vegan? And they're like, oh, no, that the sign's not there. They were actually meat. And if I had eaten that, I'd have been so angry and upset. But then we also, like I said, we had gluten-free people traveling with us. And is not a joke. Like it can be very, very dangerous. And so the fact that they had breads and stuff labeled gluten-free, but then when people were like, oh, these are gluten-free, they're like, no, like that could cause a severe allergic reaction. So like, I'm grateful that the people that we were traveling with, as far as I'm aware, did not have that severe of, but I know people that have that severe where they're anaphylactic. So like having things mislabeled is extremely dangerous, and I pointed out multiple times in surveys to Princess and stuff like that, but it is scary to have things mislabeled. It's one thing to be like, oh, they don't quite know, but when you label something gluten-free or vegan, it should, like, they need to like triple check that their signage is correct. And that took away all my faith in the buffet, that I was like, I can't eat here. I don't want to eat here because I don't trust that if this says vegan, it's actually gonna be vegan. And it's like, especially when it comes to like, this is actual meat. Like I'm veg fluid. I will eat some dairy. I will have some eggs. But I try to avoid that when possible. Pizza is my guilty pleasure. Ice cream. But like when meat is like, heck no. Like it is against my religious beliefs to be consuming meat. So for me, it's like, I was very upset the fact that I was almost given meat because of missigning. So and then like I was saying, they didn't have the Beyond Burger. They had that mushy veggie burger that's not good at all that Crown had. So I was really disappointed that they didn't have the good Beyond Burger because I ate a lot of those on Sky. Hopefully some Princess has them. I'm guessing maybe it's a supply issue because we were going from Florida.
I was also thinking because O'Malley's is selling them for money.
Oh, yes.
That they don't want to just give them away because then it deters people from paying at O'Malley's.
Yeah. Because Crown had Salty Dog Gastropub that was selling them. But O'Malley's, I shouldn't have taken a bite, but O'Malley's hours. Can you talk about O'Malley's hours a little bit?
Yes, O'Malley's seemed to have weird hours. There was only just in the evening. There was no breakfast or lunch there. I mean, breakfast you wouldn't expect them to be, but you would hope that there would be like a lunch thing that you could eat for lunchtime, but no, it was only for dinner, so
5 to 9.
which is like busy time, and it's like hard to get in there because a lot of people want to get that experience, especially with the music, because they have the Irish music and stuff going on and whatnot.
And for people with the casual dining, they get 2 included, and for Premier, they get unlimited. So like for people, they want to use their experiences, and so people like us that are just on the standard, we're happy to pay, but we can't get in. And like especially as a dinner only, and on a 7-day cruise. Yeah. I think if our cruise was longer, we would have tried eventually, but like maybe like an embarkation day or something where things might be a little less busy. Yeah. But for us, it's like we only have 7 days. We don't have the time to do that. Emrys is running away. I'll take you out in a minute. Hold on, let's just wrap up some stuff. I'm gonna talk faster. Hotel package, we did the hotel package, and I usually recommend the hotel package, but I've twice had not great experiences for it. So I don't know that I'm gonna recommend this for clients anymore. I think I'm gonna just like combine my own package and figure out my own transfers and stuff like that. So normally with the Princess package, you get off your plane, you meet a Princess rep, they put you on a shuttle, you go to your hotel. In the morning, the shuttle, Princess rep will get you on a shuttle to your ship. In past experiences, it has been fine. Recently, nope. Royal actually got rid of this option post-COVID. I don't know if it was like issues with demand for it or whatnot, or just supplier issues or whatnot. But anyway, Princess is not doing well. And it's not a cheap package. Like for us, it was, I think like $600 Canadian for the three of us versus like paying, the hotel was only like, I want to say like $250 for the night Canadian. And then I could have paid privately for a shuttle.
Yeah.
So we got there and there was no rep at the airport, and everyone that we traveled with also said there was no rep at the airport.
Yeah, all different times of the day too. We thought it was just because it was late, but no, even earlier.
Like 10 morning, and they knew our flights. All our flights were booked through Princess, so there was like literally no excuse. The rep at the hotel was amazing.
Yes. Once we got to the hotel, that was fine.
But in terms of
getting from the airport to the hotel, very disappointing.
And then in the morning, we like to get on the ship early. Like this might not be applicable to most people, but because we film a lot on embarkation day, because like the spa and the kids club, we can only film on embarkation day. And plus we like to film sail away. We have a lot of work that we do on embarkation day. So our shuttle leaving the hotel was very, very late. It kept being delayed.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to the ship until like almost like after 1:30 by the time we actually got on the ship. It meant that like embarkation process was smooth because there was literally nobody there.
Yeah.
But it was very frustrating because sail away was at like 3.
Yeah.
So like we got on the ship and you still have to do muster and stuff before you sail away. So it just felt very, very rushed.
Yeah.
I think we ended up pushing the spa tour to the next day because they did have a spa tour the next day.
I believe so, yeah.
But we still had to get to the kids club and film that, and just like, and then because also we're hosting a cruise, we want to be able to spend time with those people.
Yeah, and get those people associate, like let them bring them around the
Figure out
ship a little bit and what they need
make
to
sure
do.
they get muster done, that kind of thing. Especially like the first time cruisers or first time Princess cruisers, like that, it just felt so rushed. And we had this on Sky as well.
Yeah.
Because on Sky we took the shuttle, the Princess shuttle from the hotel, from the airport to the ship, and again we got on like afternoon and they were like making announcements about finishing up muster. There's so many people that haven't done muster yet. We're like, we didn't even get in our room yet.
Yeah, we just got on the ship.
So, and for us, it's like, yeah, I know that, like, it's not a big deal, but it's like, when it's us, I don't want to be that person, but we have to do our muster in our room because my daughter does not have the app. I wish we could check off on the app, all of us watching it, or at least the underage people that don't, like, she's 6.
Yeah.
Like, even if she was typically developing, I still wouldn't have a phone for her with the app so she can do muster.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, where it's just like, it's been frustrating to take the Princess transfers, which for most people I do not think is an issue.
Yes, this is
I
purely
think it's very much an us issue. But the Princess Hotel package, like I said, that not meeting at the airport, because for first-time travelers especially.
Yeah, they can be very confused.
Yeah, so we had people in our group that were extremely stressed out because all my instructions say there will be a Princess rep, and when you get there, there's no Princess rep. And then they were just shoving us on the free hotel shuttle, which was very nice. The Marriott LA airport hotel, beautiful, great shuttle, nice and big, accessible, lots of space. Was it accessible? I think it might have been. It might have been. But it was very big, so I think we just wheeled her on, didn't we? No, maybe we folded. I don't know. Anyway, it had lots of space for luggage and stuff, whereas we've been on like those tiny little vans. Oh, maybe this was the one that they had all the space in the back.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I don't remember now.
You have to see the vlog when it
comes
out at some point.
They were. I just was really impressed with their shuttles. They had frequent shuttles. They were constantly going around, like every 5 minutes, even late at night. So, highly recommend the Marriott. But what I would say is, do the Marriott, take the airport, like the hotel shuttle to your hotel.
They're gonna shove it to you on it anyway.
Yeah, and then find a transfer company. If you're interested in a transfer company, let me know in the comments, because I have one that I used that I loved last time I was there, but I don't remember the name of it. And yeah, so like do something like that. And the shuttle that I used last time was $100 up to like 4 or 5 people. So like it would have been significantly cheaper, like half the price to do it on our own and have like good service and have like people meet us at the hotel and get us there on a reasonable time.
Yeah, the whole point of the hotel package that I feel like for Princess is like the reason you want to use it because you want that premium experience of just, hey, let me book one thing and then I'm taken care of as soon as they get off the airplane, which this unfortunately doesn't seem like it's actually offering that anymore. So it's like if you're not going to get that service, then why should you pay the premium?
I would say the only like super good benefit was once our luggage was on the ship or on the transfer, they took care of it.
Yeah. So at the hotel, you would drop it off. Ours, we left it inside of our room.
Oh
and
yeah,
somebody would
I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would take the luggage directly from the room, and then we didn't see it till we got on the ship.
Yeah, 8 a.m. You leave your luggage at the front door of your room, like inside, and then they take it from there. Oh yeah, I forgot that we didn't even have luggage at the waiting part. And then so like that was really good to have stuff like that, but I don't know, it just was. I don't think
how
it's
much you want to pay for that, right?
We're gonna talk about ports quickly. So we did the Mexican Riviera. Cabo San Lucas, I had been to before. Don't recommend. Don't get off the ship. Do a ship tour if you want to do a ship tour. You will get.
Buy this thing. Buy this thing. Buy this thing.
Yeah, like harassed. There's no place to stop. There's no place to sit. There's no place to breathe because you're being hounded the entire time. Same experience as I've had before at that port. Nothing has changed. It is my least favorite port ever. It is the most harassment I have ever got at ports. Don't recommend it at all. Between tour vendors and like they weren't as blocky this time. Like last time I was there was just me and my daughter, and they blocked my path a lot. They tried to put bracelets on her wrist. They tried to like it was just very harassment.
Yeah, I think
This
maybe
time
some of
was a
that
little
was
better.
filming a lot, so maybe they didn't want to like jump in like.
But also having a male with me versus me alone with my daughter, I think helped, and we also had other people with us, so might have been helpful that we were a bigger group. But I went New Year's before, whereas this was.
It just made what was supposed to be a nice relaxing walk along the pier to be just hot and annoying and just get me back on the ship.
Mazatlan.
Oh, I really loved Mazatlan. We followed the blue line to the city to where the cathedral is. Saw the cathedral, walked around, went to the market. They had the big market there too.
Traditional Mexican market.
We just saw from the outside. It was kind of busy, and with their stroller, we didn't want to like get into everything.
And she's grabby.
So we kind of took a look at that from the outside, and then kind of went back. But yeah, very very nice walk. Very safe from what I could tell. There was the people all along the route wearing the blue shirts.
Volunteers, English-speaking volunteers. And from like the U.S., Canada, stuff like that, plus police. Mazatlan is not the safest city. A lot of gang violence and drug wars and stuff like that. But the way the cruise lines combat that is, or the way Mazatlan has combated that for cruise line passengers, is having this blue line that they then have security on. So I highly recommend either doing a ship tour there or following that blue line. It is
a very nice city too.
It is very nice. It's like historic. It's about, I want to say, like 1.5 kilometers to the cathedral.
Worth seeing, especially if you want to see that older, like the architecture, and you get the more feeling of like Mexico, you know.
And we did it early in the morning, so it wasn't as hot. We were back on the ship by like noon. It's well shaded, but it does get hotter as the day goes on. And obviously, if you're traveling like later in the season. But we were on the last cruise of the season for Princess, so like that's pretty much as hot as you're gonna get. I don't have any more food for you. You ate it all. Puerto Vallarta. We didn't do much in the ship or at this port. It was fairly hot. We were originally gonna walk to the eco park. But we also had a bunch of filming we had to get done. That's the thing with the 7-day cruises. It's so much. Like we work on these cruises, so it's so much to get done, and we try to do as much as we can when people are off the ship because it's less busy. Sometimes we can't avoid that, but we were gonna walk there, but it was like hot, and we were like, But the Coral Princess was in port, so we were like, ooh, and so we're on the Coral for 4 weeks next year. And so it's like, let's get off and go look at our next ship. We were at Pier 3.
Yes.
And it is a hike to get out of the port. I thought like, oh, we're right by the eco park, but we would have still had to walk all the way around.
There is the tram thingies, and they are taking
not accessible
to the entranceway.
Yeah, They are not accessible though. Mazatlan, you get off the ship and you do have to take a tram to get to the port area. It is mandatory. It is an industrial area.
Yeah.
Cabo is a tender. They did not use the accessible tenders in Cabo, which I was kind of disappointed in. But it's Cabo.
Tenders were nice though. I mean,
Yeah.
free boat ride, and we got to see some sea
Sea lions, yeah. Some people saw whales.
Yeah.
Cabo in general is a nice port. It's just the harassment. But yeah, so we got off the ship in Puerto Vallarta and we just walked to, they were docked in Pier 2, which is the same place I was docked in when I went last year. And so we just walked over there, took some pictures. Was a welcome back. Because they were like, welcome back. And we're like, not our ship. So yeah, like super excited for Coral. And then we walked back, but our friends went off, like we had people going off on all the 3 ports and no complaints, anything like that, other than the harassment that happened in Cabo.
In Puerto Vallarta, there is like the mall and the Walmart within walking
right
distance.
there
Our
across
friends did that. It was very easily to get to. So
yeah, there's like resorts and stuff. There's a lot of like ship tours that you can do, or Shore Excursions group if you would like to support us. And links are in the description. But link.travelingbeyondboundaries.com/SEG is our affiliate link if you want to help support us. Other ways to support: memberships on YouTube here. Super thanks. Book a cruise with me. Links are in the description.
Join our group cruise.
Join our group cruise. I do specialize in. I only book Princess cruises, and I specialize in Alaska. So we are going to Alaska next year. Super excited for that. Links are in the description if you're looking to. I will book other destinations with Princess, but it has to be with Princess unless you're a repeat cruiser with me. I don't book other cruise lines. So Princess is my thing, and is what I specialize in. And Alaska, I'm actually almost done my Alaska expert through the tourism board of Alaska. I'm already an Alaska expert through Princess, and I'm a Princess expert through Princess. I've done the Princess side of things, but I'm like, I want to do more, so I decided to go ahead with the tourism, the Alaska tourism, which is way more in depth and more of the inland stuff that Princess doesn't have a ton of on their training. So I am getting my expert for that. But I also have a Facebook group for Princess Alaska, so if you're interested, all that's in the description. Yeah, anything else you want to mention?
No, it was an alright cruise.
It's too short for us.
Yeah, it was short, but it helps the way we started learning on how to get into cruises and making sure we wake up early, get to breakfast, and it really made the days feel a lot longer than, especially they did our first week of Sky. It took us a lot longer to get into.
Yeah, get up early, go to the dining room, slower pace.
Yeah.
It's just so much better than the so anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye guys. Subscribe.